because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
You thought the game was over, but it's only just begun.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Late on Massacre, where no one is safe, and I have some great news for everybody. Man, I didn't think we were going to get hit with all this news on Saw 10, okay, which I am so excited for. I can't wait for it. The 10th installment, man, that's just insane. Really, the 12th installment if you add Spiral. You add Spiral, and then you add, obviously, the Jigsaw movie back in 2017. Okay, Saw 10 is interesting, and there's a lot of new news here. Not just there's a lot of good news here, and things I definitely want to talk about. I don't want to harp on it too much, but obviously at the end of this video, or near the end to the middle of this video, I want to talk about, you know, what I think of it, and you know, you're gonna definitely have some questions probably going into this whole entire thing. Now, regards to the movie, we got an official picture of Tobin Bell as Jigsaw in the movie, and he looks fantastic. He looks great. Obviously, he is a lot older. Okay. He is 80 years old and going back to the villainous side of things with this film. And I can't wait that he's a main focal point to this film. We were told by directors that they wanted him to have his own film again. They want to go back to their original roots and get this man killing. Okay, well, not technically he's killing anybody, but you know what I mean. You know what happens in these films, and I think it's really interesting. So that Tobin Bell just being back and just seeing him again, I can't wait to hear his voice in theaters. And man, I just can't wait. It's just so exciting to hear that. Now, new news from the Saw official Twitter account. The movie is pushed back. Okay, this movie was supposed to originally come out October 29th. Now it is coming out September 29th. So instead of 3 months, we're only waiting 2 months for this film. September 29th. It is very close. Now, I think the main reason why they moved it from October to September, a month back, is because Five Nights at Freddy's. I think that was a huge part of their decision. Now, obviously, when they made this decision and when they made this movie last year, or when they announced it a year ago, you know, obviously the Five Nights at Freddy's movies wasn't announced yet. I mean, maybe there was rumors on it, but nothing was concrete on a date yet of when it was going to come out. So obviously, I think that's, like I said, they don't want to get this involved with another big horror movie coming out. They want to see what these numbers are going to look like. I mean, September 29th is pretty much going into October pretty much. Like, of course, I would rather have this deep in October, but you know what? I don't even care, to be honest with you. Like, I'm pretty satisfied. They're pretty much done with the film now, and we're just getting ready for it. So 1 month earlier, September 29th, get ready for it. So excited for it. So what is this movie about? We saw Saw 10. We see the Saw 10 is just going to be a continuance, but how is John Kramer such a big character for the 10th installment when we've seen so many even after, when he died in Saw 3, how many times do we see flashbacks and how they connected all the stories together and how his work kept continuing and how they made his presence felt in all of the rest of these Saw movies. So we got some information on this film. Okay, so this is set in between the events of Saw 1 and Saw 2. Okay, it says, this new movie follows John Kramer as a sick and desperate John travels to Mexico for a risky and experimental medical procedure in hopes of a miracle cure for his cancer, only to discover the entire operation is a scam to defraud the most vulnerable. Armed with a newfound purpose, the infamous serial killer returns to his work, turning the tables on the con artist in his signature visceral way through devious, deranged, and ingenious traps. Holy crap, dude. This made me so happy just reading this, because they are literally giving Tobin Bell a badass fucking moment in this movie. They're giving him literally, I mean, this is his movie. Like, this is, my God, this is awesome. I'm so excited. Like, I don't know if, like, he goes as a patient regularly as a patient to Mexico to find, these other medicines. Just remember, guys, when he went to the hospital, and then later in the films and later down the road in the films, we see that, the scans were switched and they could have saved him from cancer, and the doctor made a big mistake, and hence why he put the doctor in that big trap in the first film, okay? Because, he could have been saved, and like I said, the scans were switched and it was a big mistake. So maybe he goes to Mexico as like a patient thinking nobody knows him. He goes there, and then I guess people may find out in Mexico that he is who he is. Maybe they try to kill him. He gets away. He comes back. He puts all these guys in Mexico, whoever, as part of the hospital, or someone, maybe he puts them in traps and puts them through a whole entire new game, which I'm wondering how this thing is really going to pan out, but from the sounds of it, it's going to be awesome. Obviously, Amanda is alive and working, really working with Jigsaw at this point. So maybe we will be seeing a tag team with Amanda as well, because obviously I don't know if he's going to be working alone in this, where he has Amanda there with him. So that should be really interesting. The only issue as of right now, okay, that I have with this, the only issue is his age. The only issue I have is if this is taking place between Saw 1 and Saw 2, are they going to de-age him? Like, they kind of have to, right? I mean, I know he gets sick, but even when we see, we see in the third movie how he looks, on the gurney in the hospital bed when he's dying, and he dies in that film at the end of it. He was going to die sooner or later, which they're probably figuring out, like, the next couple movies between Saw 3 to Saw 4, what they were doing with him and how he was going to die. And that's when we see him next time. So to look like from that to this, it's like, you know what I mean? He looks a lot older here. So I'm wondering if they're going to, and I don't know if this wasn't official. This could have just been a picture they just took of him. It doesn't mean it was in the movie or anything like that. You never know. But he's 80 years old now. We know that as long as he can quote and he can talk and he can read a script and he can walk around a little bit, Tobin Bell doesn't need to do much for this movie. Him just speaking does enough. I've never seen a film where a man just speaking turns me on that much. Pause. But you know what I mean, man. That's all I really need in this film going forward. So a de-aging process, is there something to it for a de-aging process? I mean, they don't have to fully de-age him so much, but they could de-age him to the point where maybe they take some wrinkles out of his face where he looks a little, where it's not very noticeable. With some of it could look really bad where it's too much. But I don't think they really have to do too much. Now, obviously, he's got facial hair. He's got a beard in that picture. So I don't know how much that really affects it. It makes him look a little bit older, because in the first film, he had no mustache, no beard, no nothing. So that's why he looks a little more different. Like I said, the first Saw film was in 2004. It's 2023 right now. And that's really the only thing I have to really complain about. How are they going to fit him with how he looks right now and his age into between Saw 1 and Saw 2? That's really the only question I have. Other than that, this description of him going there, and then when they try to, he goes there and he finds out that what he's doing is a scam, that they're trying to scam him, and then they don't know who he is, but I think they try to, steal from him, or they try to rob. I mean, who knows what they try to do to him in this film. And they make the biggest mistake from doing that, not knowing who he is. Okay? Not knowing who he is, and he comes back with a vengeance, and maybe him and Amanda do team up, and they put these people that try to defraud him, they put these people in there in a brand new game, whether it's in a house or it's in I don't know where. It could be almost there in a hospital, it could be anywhere, I don't know. It could be a private little hospital, someone's house, so who knows at this point? I don't know. And so I think that's just amazing. Just reading that was great. And like I said, that's like the problem with the de-aging stuff and all that. That's really the only thing I have, because Tobin Bell is old. That's really all I have to fit him into a very, very early movie. They really want him to have the spotlight, and I really do respect that. I do want to thank Kevin Grutart and Josh Stolberg for really making this, going to make this movie and make, Tobin Bell the main focal point, which is awesome. Now, Kevin Grutart is the director to this film. He did Saw 6, he did Saw the Final Chapter, and now he's directing Saw 10. Okay. Josh Stolberg and Peter Goldfinger, they both have wrote for Jigsaw. They both have wrote for Saw Spiral as well, both of them. I had to look that up before. So those are your directors, and Josh Stolberg, obviously a huge fan of is actually did a really good job writing wise, dialogue wise. And Kevin Grutart's going to be interesting. At least with Kevin Grutart, he has worked on some of the earlier films, and obviously 2009 he directed the Saw 6 film, so it was actually a pretty good one, so I was pretty happy about it. So we're gonna get that back to the roots type Saw film back on track, and I don't really worry about the feel of it. I feel like it will feel like a Saw film. I'm not really worried about, like I said, I'm not worried about that too much going into all of it, which is pretty cool. But if you guys did not know, they're having a panel for Saw 10 next week. Okay, July 28th, next weekend, they will be having I forgot, it's called mid-season something. There's a panel going on for a horror convention or something like that next weekend. I'll obviously put out more news on that next week when it comes out. But they are going to have a panel for Saw 10, and can't wait to see the interviews and all that great stuff, because they're going to start marketing this thing probably the start of next weekend. Okay, so I'm expecting a trailer to come out, a teaser at least, for next weekend. Hopefully we get something good. Hopefully they don't show too much either. We want to get a nice tease and kind of let this thing flow through our bodies for a while. So look out for that teaser next weekend. Now, they didn't say they were coming out with one, but if they're having a panel next weekend, and then they already moved this movie a month from October to September now, expect a trailer probably by next weekend, and we'll be reacting to it right here. So but other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. Saw 10, can't wait for it. At least we know what it's about now. This is Tobin Bell's movie, and I couldn't want anything more. I was afraid we're going into Saw 10 and it was going to be a bunch of new characters, and there's nothing wrong with having new characters, but make it work, you know what I mean? But that's where I was confused on making a Saw 10 film, but making Tobin Bell the focal point when it was announced last year, when they were saying Tobin Bell was going to be a huge part of this movie. Well, I guess we know now why he's a huge part of it, because this is a prequel to Saw 2. Between 1 and 2, he will be a big part of this film, and I'm pretty excited for it, and I'm just so happy for him, and I can't wait to see what these numbers look like. I'm excited. Do I feel like this is going to be a good film? I hope so. I'm hoping it's not a box office flop. I really hope they do a good job, because I want more of these films in the future. You know what I mean? Whatever they want to do, you know what I mean? Sooner or later, like, this thing is going to end, unless they're never going to end it, and people keep coming to the theater or keep watching it, and we'll see more. But if you guys laughed this on this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video as well. Do come out with videos every single day, and we'll have more news next week, hopefully on this, and hopefully a teaser next weekend. That's what I'm praying on, and it definitely 100% sounds like it if they're trying to figure out the marketing right now. So marketing will start definitely next weekend, no doubt. You guys have a fantastic day. Keep running. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.